Part 3.5, everybody.
Welcome to part 2 of Phase 3 ranking, because we were just talking. We're two passionate people who don't know when to stop talking about movies that we love and movies that we desperately hate.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the first 5 movies of Phase 3, and we're going to have a lot to talk about with...
Yeah, it might be another 45-minute video, and that's all right, man.
Might even be an hour.
Next one we got is Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
Starring Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan.
Rest in peace.
You start?
You start.
I start?
You start.
Hold up, man. I gotta get my ranking back out.
Because I gotta rank my...
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's a B for me.
Really?
It's a B.
Wow, okay.
That was gonna be higher?
I thought we were gonna put it S tier.
Black Panther's not S tier. I'll tell you why. Now I know when this movie came out, it was a huge deal, and people were like, "It's the freaking best." I do like it. That's why it's a B. But what keeps it going any higher? First off, and a lot, especially fight scenes, they don't look good.
The CG is really
bad.
Like a lot of times,
yeah.
Some I forgot to mention about with Thor Ragnarok. I did enjoy Thor Ragnarok, but one thing I thought was, very shoddy CG in some areas, and this one really felt like it. And I'm only mentioning it because it came like in between the same. I think it was the same year those two came out.
Yeah, yeah. You could see that impact in the movie, especially in the final climatic fight. It doesn't look good, so it takes away from that emotional stuff that's going on. I really do want it to be an A, and there's good material in there that is A level worthy, but there's too much stuff that makes it less impactful, so it's a B for me. I know everyone probably thinks that he's like really funny and crap, Andy Serkis.
I had a fun time, just how crazy he was.
I do not like him at all. And that's one of the things in the movie, it's that humor, and I keep talking about this, like, I make it rain! Like, it takes away from the movie for me. Like, he's an annoying ass character, not like a funny when he's on screen that most people probably feel. That's okay. Me personally, he's annoying as hell. I do not care for his character in any way, shape, or form.
I feel like he's a character that if you gave him like a few more scenes where he would be more than just like another joke. Because I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like that's what they're trying to go for, is like very loud, a boorish kind of, hunter-ish sort of way. But and Andy Serkis is doing, God bless him, he's doing
he's great
his
actor.
best. But
I just don't like what he was given, and it's that humor aspect I don't care for. There's some scenes that are dark, like when Black Panther's in the forest, like you can barely see him, he's taking people out, but you don't really see any of it. It just kind of reminds me of like kind of when Batman is wasting people in Batman Begins, but you can't really see what's going on.
I was gonna say it was kind of like the skyscraper fight in like Shang-Chi when they're in like that I think was, but I could see that.
I like that scene.
Really? I thought it was just too dark to even make out with a lot of...
Okay.
But with Black Panther, I thought it kind of makes sense because he's trying to be all stealthy and everything.
I understand that, and they say the same element for Batman, but when you're still watching it, like, it's not pleasant to watch.
I get that,
even if you're driving something home. Just like Batman, understand, they kind of explain why in the Batman movies, like Nolan movies, where they do all the cuts. I think it's because they don't have a good choreographer, personally.
I think it might be because they were just cutting corners on some areas.
But they were just like, oh no, you're supposed to kind of feel like you know what's going to happen and blah, 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 but it's just not, you don't know what the frick is going on. And that kind of lessens your entertainment value. So there's that too, but also the writing in the movie is a double-edged sword because the villain is phenomenal.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite
Michael B.
villains.
Jordan as Killmonger. He's freaking awesome. One of the best villains in MCU, like, hands down.
The best way I heard someone describe him is kind of like you're at a party with a bunch of people you don't entirely know of, but you look at him and you just want to go, I want to know about you guy. What are you all about?
Yeah, he's excellent. One of the best villains. Definitely, he's probably S tier worthy of, like, when it comes to villains. Yeah. Chadwick is amazing in this movie. He is great, phenomenal actor. He's great as Black Panther. There's good emotional beats that's intense. The whole fight with him and Killmonger, that's S tier level. Yeah. When they're fighting on top of the thing, and bro, ends up yeeting him off the
Yeah.
cliff or whatever, and he was like, or when he's kicking him down in the water, this your king?
Yeah.
This your king? Like,
Yeah.
that crap is intense. And Ryan Coogler, I will say, is one of my favorite directors in the MCU.
Yeah, and
I'll get into Wakanda Forever another time.
I was really excited when I found out he was directing.
He's an amazing director, man. He really freaking is. But that scene, like, really hit those, like, emotional beats freaking crazy. And even Killmonger's story, when you see him as a kid and all that, and you learn his backstory, it's one of the first villains that you actually, like, connect with on a certain level. So really good story beats, but at the same time, as someone who is as critical and analytical that I am, the one thing I have problem with the story is I understand Wakanda is built on rituals and traditions, and they're very firm in their beliefs. But you're really gonna let this dude walk up in here that you don't know at all, just because he's got the thing on his tongue or whatever it was?
Yeah, he has like
just because of that and who he is, that you're gonna just hand over your whole kingdom to this guy because he beat someone in a fight? No way, dude. Like, I understand
he beat the king.
Yeah, I understand, like, they're a proud tradition. All these people who love their country, but, oh, it's the way it is. So we're just going to let this dude, like, kill T'Challa and burn all our shit because he said so. Like, that's stupid to me. Like, that's just... I understand to a certain point, and it does make for good drama and good story, but there ain't no way they're going to do that.
And that's where, that's what their takeaway is at the end of the film, because at the end, they do open up and they do leave,
Right, but I feel like they're smart enough that it shouldn't got to that point, but they had to make the movie happen. But it's like, come on, bro. Especially like warrior people, like, what's her face? Okoye?
Yeah.
Like, you gonna let this bro take... Nah, you're not, dude. You're not.
It's also pretty clear that because you have visions of... they're going like this ethereal kind of vision world where he's speaking to his late father and everything. It's pretty clear that he's upset because T'Challa, Black Panther, is upset that his father was keeping secrets from him. But it's pretty clear that he was keeping secrets from everyone too, because it's like I said, this guy just walking around. It's like, who is this guy? Wait, we don't know anything about. Wait, the previous king did what? What? Like, this is like a whole can of worms that's just opening up, and people are just now noticing. So it's like, I don't know what they're probably just like. What do we make of all of this? You know?
It's a solid B for me. There's S material and S material in the movie, but overall as a package, it's a B for me.
I'm giving this an A because
I respect that.
Yeah, because again, I get where you're coming at with say like what I ain't even blanking on the name, the Andy Serkis character, because I get he is very obnoxious and everything, but again I feel like a lot of Claw. It's like, I feel like a lot of it is just a lot of scenes just with him that we don't have enough scenes with him in it. But I feel like...
Oh, speaking of, I love how bro just walk up to the Wakanda like that. But when bro just walks up and just throws the freaking body, he's like, there you go.
That kind of what does it for me. It's like, at the end, he kills him off anyway because he's pretty much leverage. It's like, hey, you looking for this guy? Hey, I'm your guy and everything. And so, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep praising Michael B. Jordan because I love Chadwick Boseman. I love the whole struggle between those two. That is like some of the stuff I want in a lot more of Marvel films, even movies that we all are praising for, because I feel like they're good, but there's still like, you still want that kind of duality, that kind of rivalry that you get for, like, say, Batman or Joker or Superman and Lex Luthor, and you get that with T'Challa and Killmonger
for sure.
And what else to say? And the world of Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
My God, this just looks so cool to be around, and it just seemed like it'd be a lot of fun, a lot of culture to it, and the crazy technology that they got. Like, what should be like. I remember back when we see, like, whatever, the Star Wars prequels, and it has, like, a hologram, we thought, this is high-end shit, but when you see it just looks like, the actual person, no holograms or whatever, it just stands out so cool.
Their practical stuff's really good in the movie.
They are. It really is.
If their CG could have
and
matched that.
Was it Martin Freeman?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's a character I was kind of surprised he came back at Civil War. I didn't think he was ever going to return, but it was all fun. I thought he was more like an annoying obstacle in Civil War because, you know, he was trying to stop whatever, Captain America. But when you see him, he's trying to, you know, be of help. And he's kind of like us, you know, he's wondering, like, what's so special about Wakanda, and then immediately gets healed up from a bullet wound less than a day. It's like, well, shit, man, this is really incredible, you know, impressive stuff here.
Yeah, him and Shuri have some good scenes.
Yeah, and but yeah, with Jordan, he really does make this, you know, show really stand out for, because I remembered when Ryan Coogler, when he was talking about, you know, what he thought about when he was going to get the movie or the job, he was saying like Black Panther would have been a character he would have hated because of all this high-end technology, and he's just hiding it away. And that was pretty much the creation of this version of Killmonger, which that was just very fascinating because, yeah, it's like really cool toys, but what's the point if, you know, you're just going to keep it when people should probably need it or whatever. So
right.
It's easy to understand where he is coming from. It's not like Ultron or whatever, like Ronin or Red Skull. It's like, or not Red Skull. It's not like these previous villains where they're saying like, well, I'm doing this for the greater good. Why can't you understand? It's like, yeah, you're saying it, but you don't really, we don't feel it. Here, we do feel it because we saw him, what happened to his...
Probably up to this point in the MCU, he was the best villain, for sure.
Yeah.
Villain, I mean, it just depends on how.
And like I said, Chadwick Boseman is very excellent in this one as well. And
yeah, solid B for me.
Yeah, solid A.
That brings us to our next one, Avengers Infinity War, the third movie directed by the Russo brothers.
The coup de grace.
You first on this one.
You know what? Screw it. I'm not ashamed of this. I'm giving this a straight up S tier.
This S tier.
Yeah.
I thought you about to go lower than S. I'm like,
no,
this
is S.
I think argument could be made that this is the best film in the MCU.
10 years. We have been watching this studio grow for 10 years straight, and it all has come down to this. And it did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Every single thing that happens in this is incredible.
It definitely, of all the movies I saw, all the MCU films that I saw in theaters, this was my fondest memory. Because I think it was the intensity of it, and you didn't know what to expect. And you were strapped in from start to finish. Endgame also captured a lot of that, but Infinity War, I think, did it first. So where you're like, holy, it was like moment after moment after moment. Third movie directed by the Russos, which we both gave the other ones S's. This is another S tier from them. They are great freaking directors that make you feel that emotion, those high stakes. Every movie, it's like they get even more and more into the high stakes and emotional bits of the film. But it also... the fallout from Civil War is felt in this film, which is really cool too. As far as like Iron Man didn't even want to get a hold of Steve, and you know Hulk was like, "Hey, give him a call, bro. Like it don't matter what happened, you give bro a call."
And at the center of all that is Josh Brolin as Thanos. That this is his movie, straight up. This whole journey is pretty much him, and it's pretty much the Avengers are the antagonists of his journey, like because. You know, and what's so cool is that if like anyone's mentioned, if this were any other movie, if this was any other movie, not a Marvel movie, but just like whatever, just a standalone film, people would hate it. They would straight up hate it because there's so many characters just thrown at them haphazardly. Some of them are just, you know, like whatever, nothing reveals or whatever. Some of them, you know, are kind of cut away before the reveal. Like we see the Guardians, the first time we see the Guardians meet up Thor, he's pretty much like a fly on the wall, and then he's just cut to like him, you know, already patched up, and they're just now talking about Thanos. Like we just pretty much cut away their introduction to each other. but we had 10 movies worth of movies or worth of character
Which a lot of
development.
movies don't get to do that. So they're in a unique place where they can do things or do a movie like this where you don't have to have all that explanation.
It really is pretty much like reading a comic book because you have characters that just appear all at, everywhere.
And there's so much freaking going on. The whole freaking world is at stake. Thanos, amazing villain, and
incredible CG.
It looks really good.
I give Ragnarok and especially Black Panther a little bit of leeway on the CG because it's bad, but I get a feeling they were just holding off on those so they could put their attention on
Infinity War.
Yeah, and
Infinity War is amazing. I like how it opens up with just brutality.
Yeah,
Thanos shows up, beats the shit out of Hulk.
The Hulk,
God, just beats the shit out of him like he's just some common dude.
And then he
snaps Loki's freaking neck. So right at the gate, you're like, oh dang, Loki, he just died.
Right after
he's gone.
Right after Thor is pinned and muffed up and everything.
So it starts where you feel that brutality and like, oh, Thanos he's no joke. He's a real freaking threat.
And what's so cool is just another thing to add to Brolin's performance. I think all the other previous times we saw Thanos, they gave him like a little deep voice filter or whatever. I'm pretty sure Brolin just used his real voice, and that just adds so much more because it also adds, for lack of a better term, the human in him because it's clear. Yeah, he's imposing. He's fuck all to everyone,
but he's like Killmonger, where he really feels that what he's doing is right.
He feels very much like how a deer is to like game. It's like if you cut half the population, there'll be a lot of resources for the remainder, and I can see where that's coming from, where they might be coming from there, but let's just not cut it all. Let's just cut to the chase. The one thing that really makes it work for me anyways is how it ends. Because, we saw the trailer where Gamora just says he can fade half of humanity with a snap of his fingers and everything, but that just sounds like a normal bad guy thing, It's like, hey, we're going to cut a whole continent and throw it into the earth and it's going to cause an extinction. Well, okay, it sounds bad, but
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. This does, and not only does it happen, we see just how almost haunting it looks like.
Yeah, especially because they kind of cut the music out. And you just see people just fading away, and you see other characters' reaction. So again, the Russos are really good at conveying emotion.
Yeah.
Which is why the movies are so incredible, and you feel these emotions and this loss of characters not knowing what just freaking happened.
Yeah, and it feels like, and like I said, it's how we're feeling right now because when it's just like a very abstract thing when she says, fade away when she snaps her fingers, what is that really going to look like? And it's not end of the world, disastrous. It's just very
haunting, just gone. People just
empty.
Gone.
It just feels very empty in the, best way,
Yeah, and they did a really good job of balancing just the huge freaking cast that they have.
Yeah.
The only person that, again, I say is the Hulk. He's just a joke, and Iron Man's
going through, just to know that the Hulk is not afraid of Thanos. It just builds, it just grows the fear of Thanos. And like I said, I stand by this is Thanos' movie because it's pretty much his. It's pretty much just his journey, just finding these, stones and everything, and all the trials and tribulations he has to go through. And that's why I say if this movie would not work if Thanos didn't work.
Right.
By none. Not even a little.
And it's one of the best MCU films as far as moments. Like moment after moment. I mean, you have freaking when Wanda and Vision are fighting Thanos' dudes, and then freaking Captain America just catches that. He comes out the shadow because you got to see him in Civil War. And he's rocking that freaking beard.
And he's going all nomad.
And the squad just shows up and just wastes all fools. Like, really cool freaking character moment.
Or the Guardians with Tony when they're in Titan, and then after Thanos throws a moon at him, here comes Tony. It's like, you throw another moon at me, and you're going to lose it.
Yep. Spider-Man meeting Doctor Strange, which, they have
Is he your ward or something?
A movie later on together.
Red Skull.
Oh, yeah, Red Skull.
Getting the Soul Stone.
Yep. Freaking throwing Gamora off the thing.
Yeah.
Like, haunting as crap. Like, oh,
The Battle of
shit.
Wakanda.
My favorite moment of the whole entire movie is when they're sitting there in that battle and Thor just
Bring me
fucking
Thanos!
just comes down. And he's got freaking Groot and I think he's got Rocket. Or
Rocket and Groot.
Yeah, he fucking shows up with them.
And then you got Banner going, you guys are so screwed now.
Yeah.
Bring me Thanos!
That Thor intro, when he shows up, that is one of the hardest moments in the MCU, man. It's also my favorite movie with Thor in it. I love him in this film. Like, he's just like...
And he goes through so much shit. Like, you know, it was bad enough to know, you know, you lost your mother, you lost your father, you lost your home, and now you lost your brother, you lost half of your people, and now at the end, you know, it's like he could just do this one thing, just put this axe in this guy. He could, you know, he could have it, and that was just right there. He missed it by that much, but as Thanos said, you should have gone with the head, and he snaps it, and it's like
Thor. Yeah, Thor is definitely my favorite hero in the movie, just because of his moments were really freaking big.
And you can tell he's trying so hard to avoid, you know, shedding tears, because even when Rocket's telling him, well, what if you can't? Well, what else left is there to lose?
And another good character moment, or a good moment in general, is when Thanos is trying to get that last stone. He's just eating people left and right, and the last person standing is Cap, and that grit. He's like the last symbol of humanity, man.
Yeah.
And he's still like giving some resistance.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Captain America fan, especially in the MCU films. But that moment, that crap is so freaking hard, man. And of course, the final snap, a very just haunting, and everyone's kind of scattered, and then the movie just cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man.
And then this was a heavy hitter.
This is S tier. Argument could
straight up S tier.
Argument could be made this is the best MCU film.
Yeah,
it's definitely in my top 5 for sure, and it's S tier as Winter Soldier and Civil War is. I do like it better in Civil War. That and Winter Soldier, I would have to kind of sit down and think about, but it's definite S tier. Definite S tier. So that S tier for you.
S tier for me, man.
Let's get to the next one. Ant-Man and the Wasp, directed by Peyton Reed.
Yeah, Peyton Reed. Sorry.
Paul Rudd.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Paul Rudd. No. Peyton Reed, who also directed Ant-Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can start with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So I can't really talk about it without just going up where I was at when this movie came out. We were coming out off of Infinity War, and we're just like 2 movies away to Endgame. So we're in between like these 2 huge movies. One of them, though, we just saw was enthralling, and it lets you, you know, worn out in every single way imaginable. I was ready for something a little, you know, lighter, a little smaller. So that's what, and I liked Ant-Man. So I give this Ant-Man and the Wasp an A, personally, for me. Yeah. like I said, I really liked the first Ant-Man, and this, like I said, I wanted to. This just gave me more of what I wanted, and what I liked too is that like I said, it was levity done right, unlike the next film we'll talk about, but we'll not get into it. This was a screwball comedy, but with superheroes. You know, you have like, you know, people turning, you know, turning like Pez dispensers and salt shakers big, and they just, you know, mess up. You know, turning giant and using like a fire truck for like, you know, like a scooter or whatever. It even like a scene where a mother is possessing a man who is romantically interested in the daughter, and he treats it like, you know, motherly and everything. This is just okay. Let me put it this way. The best way I can describe this is the first scene in the movie, where it's just him playing with his daughter inside the house with all this makeshift play stuff. If you're not into it, I don't know what to tell you, man. This won't be your movie, but I had a fun time with it. That's really all.
You know what? I am glad, because I do like Ant-Man as a character, and I mean, Peyton Reed's a fine director. I do not like Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I think it's because maybe I like Ant-Man 1 so incredibly much. That's an A-tier movie for me. Same director, you got Paul Rudd back. I like Ant-Man. I liked him in Civil War. and I had hype for this movie, and it does not hit like the first one. But to the point where I don't like the movie, and I've watched it several times, and like I want to like this movie so much. And it's not that there's no stakes, because like you said, it's after Infinity War, but still there's like, I don't really feel a struggle that I care for. I find Wasp, I find her really annoying and like, I'm sorry to say this, it's gonna sound bad, bitchy. Like,
see, that was the first one for me.
Her and Michael Douglas both just mad at Scott because he went and saved, or went to Captain America and didn't tell them, and they're just treating him like absolute like garbage. Like, I don't like, it takes away from their characters. Like, they're annoying to me. I'm like, man, fuck those guys, dude.
I mean, if they were really treating him like shit, like they would just, be beating the shit out of him or just, bawling at him. But it's like, this is their stuff that he just pretty much took and used.
Whatever, man. He's Ant-Man. But it's like, they just came off as super annoying to me. Like, they're just constantly mad, but they need him, so then they're going to get him to do whatever they freaking... Like, they were just really annoying to me. I didn't care for... I liked the first film. There was some, like, animosity there, but they all
especially with Wasp, because
but I thought it was done well. This came off as really freaking annoying, and I didn't like their screen time at all. I'm like, man, screw these guys, bro.
I would.
He's sitting here house arrest, and that's another thing. Like, he's worried about his daughter. They don't give a crap. They just, because they're chasing her mom or whatever. Like,
it's like they got their own family problems too,
and they pretty much kidnap him.
Yeah.
And he's literally at home trying to serve his fucking house arrest. So that's another thing that was like, I didn't like as writing. Like, they really don't care about Scott as a person. It's how I felt, just because they were mad at him. To go chase something they didn't even know was real or not. I don't like Ghost. Like, she felt like underutilized. And then you had Lawrence Fishburne. Like, that didn't connect with me as like villains. Their whole thing didn't connect with me. I will
say it's kind of unique that it's not the suit that's making her transparent. It's the suit that's keeping her, still. I thought that was kind of a unique thing.
I like the concept, but I didn't like the execution or what they were given. And it's like something Ant-Man has over Ant-Man and Wasp is the villain. It's Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
It's way more engaging than freaking Sunny.
But again, there's like...
played by Walter Goggins.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like they're...
care.
It's not that as, an underwhelming villain. It's that they're like multiple villains. Because you have Sunny, you have Ghost, you have that Lawrence Fishburne character. You have the police that are just, are really just doing their job, but they hear that he went AWOL and now they're trying to... So, like I said, it's like a screwball comedy. It's like, it's not like it's, a good guy and bad guy. It's like all these other people just
I think you can make an argument if you're into like just a screwball comedy. Do you like the film?
Yeah.
If you're not, like, or maybe because Ant-Man 1, I was expecting another Ant-Man 1, and I felt like this was a much different film than Ant-Man 1, but I didn't enjoy it. And even the humor in it doesn't land for me as much as number 1 did. Like, they lean a lot into it. Like I said, the side characters like Michael Douglas and Old Girl are really annoying to me. There's multiple villains, none of them that I find interesting. So it's like a bunch of underwhelming villains all in one for me. And there's no intensity, which it doesn't have to have that intensity, but because it's lacking all these other things, I kind of want something there. Now, I do like, oh boy, Louise still, he's...
Yeah, the stuff that worked in
he's hilarious. He's still, like, one of the best supporting characters in MCU, hands down. And I still like him.
And one of my favorite moments from Ghost is like, it's like, okay, where is he? Literally, oh, he's at the woods. He's at the woods! Like, Ghost just appears and just shocks him. That was funny. I liked that part.
Yeah, I do like when he was on the Truth Serum.
Yeah. It's not Truth Serum.
Yeah, that was really good. I do like, some of the humor does work very well, but overall, like, I was really underwhelmed. And I guess the mother stuff didn't really I didn't feel any attachment or like emotional connection that was supposed to be had for some reason. So it's like, I just don't care about this movie.
I guess because there were a lot of things going on at once. You don't have enough time to really connect it. So
love the after credits scene.
Yeah, the after credits is really fun.
That was my favorite part of the movie. But as an Ant-Man 1, super Ant-Man 1 fan. I gave it an A rating. This is a D for me. I don't like the film. You like it.
I like
It's
it,
an
but
A.
at the same time, I feel like I gotta give him some credit because it's like, you're taking this is my stuff, this is my tech, and you're going around, with, you're stealing pretty much my stuff just to go into like fighting with Iron Man and everything. The one guy who I don't want this to be around, and he ends up, being in the side that gets arrested, and then he gets his...
But bro, what you gonna do when Captain America shows up? That's what he said. It's a good defense. Come on, bro. Stay
I feel...
Stay in the world.
Yeah, I get it, greater good, but at the same time, it's like, that's my stuff, man. What the hell? So...
We agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
He's got an A. I got a D, man. I got a D.
It was worth it just for the fun of, like I said, the screwball comedy stuff.
Well, let's see if we're as far as part on this next film. Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson. I have no idea who directed. I know it's like a couple or something.
Yeah, a couple of directors.
I didn't care to look up them. Did I start that or you started the last one?
Let's just start together. Who cares?
Captain. It's a D. I don't like Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it's a D. Maybe not as generous a D.
I like as much as I just shit on Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would watch Ant-Man and the Wasp 10 times over than watch Captain Marvel.
I wouldn't say it's as generous of a D as Thor: The Dark World, but it's a D nonetheless.
It's a movie that got made and it's competent, so I can't put it in F.
That's kind of how I am.
There's nothing there.
So a lot of people, one of the biggest complaints as these movies go on is saying that the Marvel formula is just getting a little too repetitive and everything. But I always give them the benefit of the doubt because they always find ways to add something new to that formula. Man, this is just the Marvel formula and nothing else.
And also, her character is a bunch of nothingness. You don't feel anything for Carol Danvers.
Isn't she supposed to be like a cocky, smart-ass air pilot?
Right, but she lost her memories. She doesn't know who she is. But there's nothing that gravitates you towards her character at all.
I get the feeling she's supposed to be like a female Hal Jordan, where she's supposed, like I said, I had an epiphany that I can make history. I get the feeling she's supposed to be like a female Hal Jordan, where, like I said, she's a pilot, she's very confident, she's, saying one-liners and whatnot, but is also like a cosmic hero and everything. That's not really what I got in this one. And I don't hate Brie Larson. She's a fine actor and everything. But I think it's just the writing.
It is. It's the writing, and there's just stupid lines of dialogue that are and when she tries to come off as funny, it's not funny.
I'll give it this. Whenever it's just her, nonchalantly going, like when she's trying to act like a cop basically, but when she's talking like the two doughy cops or whatever, and she's trying to act like like this is now my jurisdiction. It's like, oh, you don't know this? Are you not from that planet? Like that kind of stuff. I get it. For me, it's not the comedy; it's the drama. When she's trying to act,
exactly.
It's like, I don't know who I am.
Exactly.
It kind of has that
land.
It's that Mila Kunis kind of.
Yes.
Acting where it's like she's fine comedically, but as a dramatic actor, it doesn't work well.
Right, and the villains are lame. Marvel and old boy who just gets one shot at the end of the movie.
That's the only part I actually kind of liked.
You like that? Because
here's the thing that's the one kind of thing I felt like, okay, this is the character I'm describing, because it's like you think like Jude Law is like prove yourself right now. Prove yourself. One-on-one. No using powers. Prove yourself. What the fuck do I have to prove to you?
See, I don't like that. That's lame. Especially you're building the whole movie up and she finally embraced who she is, but she's just so powerful. Just yeet and there's nothing there. I like when your expectations get subverted, but sometimes it's not that doesn't do it for me. I want to see sometimes there's no final struggle in the film. Is how I feel.
To be fair, there wasn't much of a struggle with them in general in either way, so...
True. And the biggest thing this movie did that is so disrespectful is making one of the lines in the Russo brother movies mean Nothing.
The last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
When he says that in Winter Soldier, you get a feeling like he got fucked over.
Yeah.
Like,
you kind
because
of got the feeling that it was like either, almost feel like they were talking about like the Robert Redford or like any
some
other
of that.
character.
You know that Russo's is trying to paint that picture like of something bad like happened.
But no, it's a cat.
But no, it's not a cat.
Well,
It's a flurkin. Flurkin is what took his eye. That is so stupid. I hate when movies like I want them to be consistent and they just go back and watch that. That's not what the Russo brothers intended. There's no way.
which is ironic.
But they used that for a throwaway freaking joke, man.
The funny thing is that Goose was honestly one of my more favorite parts.
Yeah, Goose was awesome.
Yeah, and him and Sam Jackson's reaction to Goose was a lot of. I mean, him throughout the whole movie.
Goose and Nick Fury.
But okay, here's the one thing that makes me So Jude Law, he's pretty much telling like Danvers or Veers or whatever, pretty much tells him that the whole problem that she has is that you're too impatient. You gotta, your emotion is based on your power is based through emotion. You gotta keep your emotions intact or whatever. And later on, there's a whole scene where Sam Jackson is going through all this meticulous detail, breaking into a door or whatever, trying to break out of the room. It doesn't work. He goes for it a second time. But you could have done that. And what was her response? Just wanted to see if you could do it. How is that not being patient? How is that not having your emotions in control? That is...
Because it's for a joke.
Still.
The jokes trump the writing.
Yeah, and it really shouldn't, because then that just makes you question stuff like that. Yeah.
I almost fell asleep. I remember I saw this with my brother Jonathan, and I was fighting back, falling asleep, watching this in the theater. I remember. I don't have much more to say about Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
it's a D for me.
I do like the Skrulls, and they're kind of cool looking in what they can do. I like the Stan Lee cameo where he's reading the script from Allrats. I like the altered Marvel logo where it's just Stan Lee, rest in peace and everything. I thought that was very respectful. And that's it. So.
All right, now back to some good films. Got Avengers Endgame, which is the last movie directed by the Russo brothers, their fourth MCU film.
S tier.
S tier. I almost put this in A tier, and I put it. I decided S because the big moments they're too big that it's gonna have to be S.
So when I said that the Winter Soldier was the Dark Knight of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is the Return of the King of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
For sure.
All these as I kept saying with Infinity War, so many years and so many movies come together for this complete epic, and it delivers on every single angle. Now, one thing you can make an argument that's also similar to Return of the King.
The runtime. That's why I almost put it in A, because it's the part that starts bogging down for me is when they actually go get the stones. And they start going into different time periods. That is the stretch of movie that I felt could have been condensed or streamlined a bit. That was my only kind of critique, and the runtime and that bits, I felt like there was some in the movie they could have condensed, but everything else pays off so well. It's gotta be S.
Yeah, like for me, you can argue that the runtime might be self-indulgent, but they've earned it. They have earned this, for all this time. So if they want to they wanted to have fun time traveling and going to like previous, pretty much going like clip show it, but in the best way possible to like, memorable moments from the movies. That's great. If you want to spend like the first act, the first third of them just mourning the loss and everything, I say that's great too, because I feel like a lot of people had an issue with that, because when you saw them coming together, and this is I think for a lot of people the frustrating thing, it feels like there's something missing, but that's because something is missing and they don't like it and they're trying to go out of their way to fix it. And yeah, and do we just want to go and talk about the epic finale? Because man, this is
it's great. It delivers again the Russos. I think I did tear up about Iron Man dying. I think I did. I don't remember. I think I did. There's only one other MCU movie that made me do that. But I think I did. I felt that emotion. You feel that impact, and I love how the Russos deal with Iron Man as far as directing him in Civil War, Infinity War. His best acting in the MCU is in these 3 films that the Russos directed.
It is.
For sure. The part when he comes face to face with Cap, and he's like,
we're the
liar.
Yeah,
like that whole scene, his acting, and he's like kind of in shambles, and like the acting is top tier.
And just him, like, you know, I get it's because he was in space, but, you know, seeing him like all bone and skin and everything, you know, like he is pretty much just, you know, dead inside almost, you know, figuratively speaking. Like, we're the Avengers, not the Pre-Vengers, and he pretty much almost falls down, you know, conscious and everything. It's like this guy went through a lot. And
the emotional beats are really good. I mean, you lose Black Widow, and you felt that. Like, you felt that struggle of Hawkeye, them both trying to kill themselves. Like, you really felt that, like, on the edge of your seat, like, oh, shit, man.
Yeah, and so that you don't want either of them to
that really hurt. And, like, I remember the music in that scene, and you just see the look of just despair on Hawkeye's face.
Yeah,
like is incredible, sitting there with the stone, and then you remember that line of, you know, what did it cost you?
Yeah, and that whole moment of the original Avengers, just, you know, mourning. It's like, do we even know if she had a family? Yeah, us, you know, and you know, Hulk just pretty much just rage and anger. Thor obviously in denial.
Oh, I liked the scene when we're standing talking about Natasha's death, and Hawkeye's going off on Thor. He's like, you take your hammer. Like, that was a really good emotional scene.
It was.
And also good emotional stuff from Jeremy Renner in the movie too. At the beginning, you see his family just get dusted. His scene where he kills that one dude, and Natasha's there, and he's looking at her, and you just see like that.
Yeah, I
feel sorrow.
I feel like along with Johansson, Renner, the more movies he's in, the more they give him a lot more depth in it, and this really was what hit it with me. I hit it a little bit with Age of Ultron because we see, hey, he has a family, but it's after we see what he loses. He loses it all, and then the next time we see him is when he's now Ronin, pretty much slicing up. What are you coming after me for? I didn't do anything. You lived, and then just starts cutting people up and everything. And even like when Nat comes back and he just immediately says, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope. You know, it's like, he wants to feel like there's a chance, but he knows there isn't or anything. And that's what everyone kind of feels like, you know. And some people just, and like I said, that after you see like the first text, because I didn't know where exactly this was gonna go, but I didn't think this was gonna be it. Like, you see the planet where Thanos is at, and Cap's going, "Let's get this son of a bitch," and then you get.
I love the intro because
the intro's awesome.
They take care of Thanos right at the beginning of the movie, and I love the fadeaway.
Yeah,
where all you see is Thor's red cape. And the movie's like fading out into like the present day. That crap
5
so
years
hard
later. Yeah, and I was not expecting that reveal. Like 5 years later, it's like, wow, they were really going.
Because it makes you really feel that impact.
Yeah,
the stakes are there. Like, these people literally were gone for 5 years.
And it's clear that some people take this a lot better than others, because you see Cap trying to, you know, doing like the support group and everything. And Tony, you know, raising a family, even gets a daughter. And if there's one person who I feel like knows how to make the best with like the worst case scenario, it'd probably be those two. Because they've been through a lot of shit, but they found, you know, some piece out of it. But then there are characters in there who clearly don't know how to go through it. You know, like when we Ronan. But I was going to say, like, when we first saw Thor in the first Thor movie, he has like this grand, glorious, like, he obviously has no humility. He has no pain to go through. And then after this, it's like, man,
I do like a really funny scene is when Korg is playing freaking Xbox or whatever. Thor gets on there. That crap is hilarious.
I like the Rocket line. You look like melted ice cream.
Yeah.
And then
and seeing Ant-Man interacting with everybody is really funny.
That's
and cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And Rocket, man, you see, like, he lost everybody
Except for Nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about it. And damn. And this is another character that's another example of a character who tries to make the best out of the worst case scenario, because we'll get to Guardians 3 later, but man, he really did lose pretty much everything. The fact that he still kept going after those 5 years is astounding.
Yeah, the movie's really good at the emotional beats. I do think the writing, as far as the time travel and stuff, would almost keep me from being an S tier, but like I said, the moments are too big, and that final confrontation, you got the three of them fighting Thanos, and then when everyone comes back, that Avengers Assemble is so earned.
It is
so incredibly earned.
Especially with Whedon rickrolling us at the end of Age of Ultron.
Right, as a joke.
Avengers,
right.
And it just cuts it.
That's why I think the Russos, they deal better with stuff like this, and you really feel that impact when he says Avengers. Assemble, that shit is so
And when
hard.
he said it, it's almost like a Bruce Campbell line. It's like, groovy. It's like, that epic growl to it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Also, Spider-Man was straight up killing people in this movie, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, but they were bad
He was
guys.
straight up killing people.
It's like the True Lies line. It's like, yes, but they were really bad.
Yeah.
Which I have no problem with it, so be it.
Yeah, but there's good stuff in there, too. Another good emotional stuff, like Thor seeing his mom.
That was really good. Tony seeing his father.
Tony seeing his dad.
Yeah, that was really cool. What else can you really say about it? It's like, it's just really fun.
It's an epic, just like Infinity War. I think there's another one I think is epic. But these are two of the movies, Infinity War and Endgame, that feel like huge epics.
Yeah, and I stand by, I'm glad that the MCU is still going on, but if there was at a point where it could end,
it'd be Endgame.
Yeah, this would be it. This was
Endgame.
Yeah.
And of course, can't talk about Tony sacrificed himself for everybody.
Yeah.
When at the beginning, he had everything.
Yeah. I guess that's one thing that it made me wonder what they were going to do with time travel, because I thought it was going to be almost like, let's say, like one of the movies they were referencing, like Back to the Future, where once you change it, it just immediately fades away back to, the normal thing. And that made me wonder because you see how Tony pretty much has like a family. He has this whole thing. So I'm like, is he going to have to make a choice to like reverse time so that way his daughters never existed? Or, because that would be like a major morality kind of decision. Like, what would you really do? But at the same time, it's like, no, that's not a problem. So it's like, that's cool, I guess. But at the same time, I don't know. How do you feel about when time travel movies? It's like, well, it's not going to be like in the movies. We're doing it something kind of different, whatever. And I'm like, you got time travel in your movie. I don't think people are going to be, I mean, I guess they would, but at the same time, whatever. It's like, it adds, if it leads to the way how we want it to end, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I do like the end with Captain America too, finally going to go live his life.
That's what I like. I like
bro earned that, man. He earned it.
He did. It's like none of these, the way how a lot of these people, how their stories end, I'm more than okay with. With Tony dying, I'm more than okay with Cap. I wasn't expecting him to go back in time. But when I heard that, I'm like, that's awesome. There is no reason to continue from that. He's earned that. That's his story. Nat's gone, and I feel like all the other ones, they're pretty much more or less retired or somewhat, and that's cool. That is like I said, if this was to end the whole MCU, this would have been it. It feels like most of the closure is
definitely S tier. I will say, from a writing perspective, I do like Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War better than Endgame. But as far as just overall spectacle, Endgame is phenomenal.
Could not agree
Solid
more.
S.
Solid.
This leads
solid S.
to Brett's favorite Spider-Man film, the last film of Phase 3, Spider-Man Far From Home.
What a weird way to end the series, but whatever.
I think we're gonna differ on this one quite a bit.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm giving this a B. It's just
I got B too.
Hey, there we go.
All right.
Um,
I was surprised. I can give it like a D or
yeah.
C.
No.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. I think
he's fine.
I think I like him more than other people because at first, like, he's kind of cool, but then you start seeing like how unhinged he is, and he was really good at playing that like really psychotic, where it's like everything's cool on the surface, but you see those little glimpses, like, oh, this dude is actually terrifying. Like he was able to portray that to me. I really like him.
You're liking the visions that he's going through and that he's putting Peter through, and
I'm just talking about his little cracks that he would have. I don't know. I guess I really liked his reveal when everything was just. He was just duping everybody, but also when it gets into like that drone missing, like you see how terrifying he gets real quick when he turns all the drones on all bro.
Mm-hmm.
But he's talking in a very calm manner, but like also a very threatening manner. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie. I think his performance is a little underrated because he played really good at just being intimidating without being intimidating. I don't really know how to put that into words.
I guess that's a good way to put it. I guess for me, I was thinking more of like, I don't know. I think because I knew that's who he was in the comics. He's like this dejected kind of almost like this VFX performer and whatnot. I get that's where they were going for. At the same time, I didn't know where they were kind of going when I first was watching this movie. I knew he was obviously. They're making him out to be all buddy with Peter, but he's obviously going to be the bad guy. Right. I just didn't know where they were going for. And yeah, I guess the reveal, it leads to more of who he was. But now that you're mentioning it, it's like, you know what? Yeah, he probably has a lot more to it than he thinks. I think for me, I was almost going to think about like, this is almost like a better version of like, say, the twist that we got in some like Iron Man 3 where...
Okay, yeah.
You think of like it's going to be this, very stoic terrorist or whatever, and it's just this, dopey, drug actor. And then you think like, oh, he's going to be the main bad guy. But no, actually he's not. He's really just, I'm giving him more credit. It's like, yeah, Gyllenhaal's Mysterio is a lot more than I'm giving him credit for. So I'll give him that. But aside from that, yeah, I really don't know what else to say about the movie itself.
It's a weird film.
Yeah.
But I like it. What did you give Homecoming, an A?
I gave it a B. Wait. Yeah, I gave it a B.
Okay, I already said I don't like... I actually like this movie a lot more in Homecoming because there was more to it. Like, there was more consequences to me. I mean, at the end of the movie, you have Spider-Man being labeled, his identity gets freaking outed. So there's like, I felt consequence to this. There's consequence of him not taking responsibility of his glasses and giving them to... Yeah,
that's what I really liked.
As far as Peter as a character, there was more in this movie than there was with Homecoming. He's just trying to get with Liz Allen.
And I like the Stark envy as well. But I do like the fact, you're right, the glasses, being sort of like the great responsibility sort of aspect, and he's pretty much giving it away to someone who he thinks would be better off. And at the same time, I also kind of like that. I was joking before, like, weird way to end it after Endgame, but at the same time, with this version of Spider-Man, being more liking to Iron Man, and trying to get his, appreciation, Tony almost becomes sort of like the Uncle Ben, because he's the one that passed away. He's the one that is giving him like this chance,
Yeah.
So I really do like that. And yeah, you're right. There is a little more to it than that. I also kind of like that the movie is very much like Mysterio in a sense, where he pretty much, there's this one line after the big, right after the big reveal, where he says, like, you could be the smartest person in the world.
Nobody cares.
But unless you have, like, you can fly or have a cape, well, I got both, And I feel like that's a good way to put it, because I think with a lot of movies, especially coming from Sony, they make very good movies. Like one of the movies, there's a movie out there called The Nice Guys with whatever Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. It's a really good movie. It flopped hard. It bombed hard. But it's like that's a good example. You could be, one of the smartest people in the world, or the nice guys, and no one will care. But unless you have, I don't know, unless you can like fly or have a cape, well, I have bows. It's pretty much it's pretty much a very small coming of age kind of teen flick, disguised as like a superhero epic.
Sure. Yeah, I think it has a lot more going for it than Homecoming does, and I also like the illusion aspect. I did like the illusions, the way it actually looked. It was a better looking movie to me than was Homecoming, because you had the illusion effects, and it's kind of like a horror-esque at times, like Spider-Man don't know what's going on, but also it's
the kind of scenes I was wanting to see from the Raimi films, especially more on
Raimi would have done it. If he had Mysterio,
well, maybe for all we know. But then again, we had Spider-Man 3, and there was supposed to be like a nightmare scene where his duality was supposed to be changed, and we don't get that in Spider-Man 3. This is the kind of stuff I wanted in Spider-Man 3, where right down to like him seeing the gravestone of Tony Stark. It's like, maybe if you were good at your job, maybe Tony would still be alive.
Yeah.
And then being haunted by his zombies.
And that's also why I think that Jake Gyllenhaal is a little underrated, because stuff like that is like actually like really menacing.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a psyche of Spider-Man seeing all this shit, and you have this voice overhead, and maybe if you would have done this, he'd still be alive. Like, I'm like, oh snap!
Yeah,
so I do really like him as a villain, but also the movie does a good that there's points that you don't know what's going on because you don't know what's illusion and real. Like you feel that, like with Nick Fury when he gets Spider-Man at the time, you think, oh yeah, it's Nick Fury, but oh no, it's just another illusion, and then Peter gets hit by a train.
Yeah,
so I like that. It's kind of edge of your seat. You don't know what you're actually.
And also
watching.
A nice touch that because when I was looking at the trailers, it wasn't a big deal, but it just kind of made me wonder, why are they going for the no-shave look for Mysterio? And it's like, it's because when he takes on the glasses, he kind of has a bit of a Stark look to him. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. I get that's where he's probably going for. It's like, you could be the next Stark. Here, take it, that sort of thing. So I really like that. I guess for me, what it was is that I was almost going to say which movie this or Homecoming at least looks more interesting. I guess I was leaning more Homecoming because I was thinking more of like when they were going to like where are they even going? Like somewhere out of town. What was it? Italy or something?
That's Far From Home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like where were they going in Far From Home? Like Italy or something?
It was some European.
Europe, that's what it is. I was looking at that and I'm thinking like they don't really film Europe all that well in this. I'm thinking this is kind of a bland, but then you remind me of the Visions and I'm thinking like, yeah, no, this is actually a lot more interesting.
Plus, I love that finally they really addressed the spider sense.
Yeah.
And the scene with the drones, I love that scene where he's sitting there on that bridge.
Okay.
And then he has a spider sense and then he just starts murking all the drones and the music just stops.
Okay, yeah, so this is where, I don't know why I was giving Far From Home. They're both equal to me, but for whatever reason, I just remembered Homecoming a little more. But yeah, with Far From Home, it's like, yeah, I do remember that scene. And it kind of reminded me of like the old Spectacular Spider-Man show where it does the same thing, where it's like he uses his spider scent, may the Spidey sense be with me. And he's just, paying attention to what. And this one, I'd say, is a little more visually interesting. Yeah, it's just pitch black.
I like how they drop the music too. So you're just in there, and you just see him just doing all his action. There's no music. Like, I love that. And then that final shot of Mysterio still trying to, like, one-up Peter with the, shooting him.
Yeah.
That whole last scene was really freaking cool. I guess there's more moments in this movie that I like better than Homecoming. Not saying it's, like, a really good written movie or anything.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy it more. Like, I actually enjoy them. I actually like this movie.
I'll say this. I do like the side... I do like some of the side characters in there. Like, I thought Ned was I liked Ned a little bit more. It's weird because
I liked Mary Jane a lot more.
I did like her. Sorry. Yeah, MJ. I liked MJ more. It's weird that in one movie, in Homecoming, he's going around, it's like, hey, and flips him off or whatever, to now being romantically interested in it. But at the same time, I was also kind of thinking like, well, the first film he wanted Stark's approval. Now he just wants to be his own kid. But I'm thinking there's a lot of stuff that went in between those movies. Maybe I'd give him a little benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Ned and MJ a little more when there's just side characters that are just like you said, are just a joke. That's really it. Like, I don't get into much of the teachers. Like there's this one guy who has like is trying to take a photo and it drops.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I don't. I like these movies fine, the Spider-Man movies fine, but for whatever reason, it seems like they're just trying to come together in the best way they come as they're going along. They're trying to make this all come together as they're going along without really thinking it over, because Betty Brant is the one character, after seeing all these three movies, it's like the one character I'm convinced they had no idea what they wanted to do with.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with the actress, I'm saying, but the first film, she's just a sight gag. That's pretty much it. And then she's romantically interested with Ned, which is kind of funny or whatever. And then she's just like a little walk-on cameo. It's like, what was the... And that kind of feels like with some of these things, it's
They're just like making up as they go.
Yeah, like Aunt May, she's barely in it, so she doesn't really have much to say or do in it.
Well, she's with Happy in this one.
Yeah, she is, but I mean, like we don't really see a whole lot. We see more of Happy than we do of her in it, and even then, like when we see the glasses and we see where that's gonna lead to, cut to No Way Home where it's pretty much confiscated from him. It's like, okay, so there's some things in it that don't make sense, but all in all, yeah, I
think it's a solid B.
It's a solid B. You helped me elevate it a little more higher B than Homecoming at least. So
good. My job here is done.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about Phase 3. I know this is a lengthy video. Give us your own tier ranking down below. Until next time for Phase 4, peace out.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.